This Sportz Blitz podcast is brought to you by LMG. Grow your business through logo design, paper products, and video production. Visit leemarketing.net to learn more.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Sportz Blitz Live. Luke Robinson with the Bradbury Medical Center Alabama Blitz, joined now by Bryan Passink, the color commentator for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Bryan, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, Luke. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for being with us, bud. Well, what can you tell us that has gone on at the University of Alabama since the final game against LSU in the SEC tournament?
Well, thankfully, the season's over, and it's time to look forward to hopefully a much better team and a much better year next season. And I expect that to be the case. It's a very important year for Alabama basketball next year, and I think we've got some guys coming in that'll really help. And I think we will have a much different story a year from now.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, things couldn't get a lot worse than this year. It's one of the worst years I've ever suffered through with Alabama basketball. But there are some reasons to be optimistic. I mean, you've got a guy like Michael Kessens who's transferring in, a guy like Ricky Tarrant who's also coming in, and a good signing class. And Alabama's still looking at some other guys. So can you tell us anything about the new crop coming in?
Well, from what I can tell, I think it's going to be a much improved roster from a talent standpoint. Three really good freshmen coming in, three of the best shooters in high school basketball from this past season. So that's something that Anthony Grant hasn't had in his previous 5 years at Alabama. It is guys across the board on the perimeter who can really shoot the three. And I think we'll have a much different team from that standpoint, because you look at what Justin Coleman did at Winona, the way he shoots the ball from the point guard position. You got Devin Mitchell from Georgia, who is a great three-point shooter, one of the best in the Southeast. And then Riley Norris is a guy from here in the state of Alabama, a little bit bigger, 6'5", 6'6", plays the wing, can really stroke the three as well as rebound, can do a lot of different things. So those three guys are going to be depended on to come in. And I think they'll give this team and this program a much different look, because you've got three guys whose specialty is the long-range shot, something we haven't seen. And then you add the transfers into the mix with Ricky Tarrant, Michael Kessens, two guys who sat out. They practiced with the team. I've seen them play. They should make an immediate impact next year. So you've got five guys coming in that I think all can be difference makers in their first year.
Bryan, what are your thoughts on Auburn and their hiring of Bruce Pearl?
Well, I think it's a great hire. I think it's great for the SEC. I think it's great for the state of Alabama, and obviously for Auburn. And that's something that the SEC has needed. You know, it's been a great run in the tournament for the SEC, but it still doesn't hide the fact that the last 2 years have been down years. And you bring a proven coach like Bruce Pearl into the SEC, and I think it lifts up the league. And what he brings from a marketing standpoint and from a PR standpoint will generate a lot of interest in basketball in the state of Alabama, and I think that's a good thing. So I think it's a great hire. I'm not sure how good Auburn will be next year. The roster's thin, but, you know, Bruce Pearl has always recruited at a high level no matter where he's been, and I expect him to do that at Auburn and really improve their program.
Okay, let's talk about the SEC and their performance in the NCAA tournament so far. A lot of people are saying it means that the SEC was undervalued all year long, that they're 7-0 in this tournament. My personal belief is that the SEC didn't have such a bad draw. I mean, Tennessee ended up with a pretty nice path to the Sweet 16. They get to avoid Duke, obviously. And then Kentucky, I think that is a team that was probably underseeded. They were playing more like a 6 seed. And Wichita State, you could make the argument, though they were undefeated, may have been the weakest of the number 1 seeds. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, first of all, I think the league was undervalued. And I don't think that because the league has 3 teams in the Sweet 16 and the SEC 7-0, it is the reason why it was undervalued. I thought it was undervalued before the tournament started. And one of the reasons why is I looked around and I saw 9 top 100 teams in the RPI. Not many leagues around the country has that. I think the ACC may be the only one that's right up there with 9 or 10 top 100 teams. And so I saw Kentucky getting better. I saw, in my opinion, from a talent standpoint, the most talented team in the country who didn't have a great year. I mean, Kentucky's regular season was not all that impressive, and it's why they got an 8th seed. Now they're playing by far their best basketball. They played by far their best game against Wichita State, and they have a chance to get to the Final Four. So John Calipari has his team playing at a high level, and they're a team that obviously, from a talent standpoint, can win the national championship. Now I'd be surprised because they're freshmen, as we all know, but I don't think they're nearly as good as they were a couple of years ago. And they also, one thing they had a couple of years ago were a couple of veterans, and they don't really have that this year. Tennessee is a team that I thought got better late, and from a size, athleticism, from a guys who've been around, Tennessee has it all. I thought they were going to have a better year than they've had, but they're playing extremely well right now. They did get a really good draw. But they're playing with a lot of confidence. And when you have Jarnell Stokes and Jerron Mayman on the block, and then you have Jordan Cray on the perimeter with some other talented players like Josh Richardson, who's really hitting his stride, they're a team that can continue to win in this tournament. And it really doesn't shock me that both Tennessee and Kentucky are where they are. It takes playing well. It takes being hot. It takes good matchups. And so far, those teams have had that.
Well, Bryan, love your basketball insight. Thanks for being on with us tonight, and we hope to have you on again soon. And let's hope things start back over in a positive direction for Alabama soon.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and I expect that to happen in Tuscaloosa. And as far as the SEC, hey, we didn't even mention the #1 team in the country, and that's the Florida Gators. I expect them to cut down the nets, but it should be a fun tournament the rest of the way. But, Luke, I appreciate you having me on.
Well, yeah, I'm going to go with Florida now, but of course you're talking to a guy who had Syracuse playing Duke for the national championship, so to take what I say with a grain of salt.
Same here. I won't mention my Final Four pick. It wasn't a whole lot better than yours.
All right, have a good night, buddy.
All right, you too. Thanks, Luke.
That was Bryan Passink, the color commentator for the Alabama Crimson Tide here on the Bradbury Medical Center Alabama Blitz. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sportz Blitz Live.